This episode of Shadows and Sightings contains explicit content, including strong language, graphic violence, gore, and discussions of sensitive topics like death and trauma. Listener discretion is advised.
Oh, Bloody Mary Dispel Kit is not complete without 6 quesadillas. Welcome all our listeners out there to another episode of Shadows and Sightings. An interesting episode today. I'm your host, Nick.
And I'm Taylor.
What are we talking about today? Bloody Mary.
We got that bloody girl.
Yeah.
Up on the docket today.
Yeah.
One of the oldest urban legends of all time, I think. This is the most popular urban myth.
Next to the boogeyman. And
Boogeyman,
yeah.
I think Bloody Mary, when you say Bloody Mary, everybody knows what you're talking about.
I think that's fair. I was relatively young, I think, when I first heard about Bloody Mary.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I was terrified to actually try it.
I did. Nothing happened. Nothing.
Nothing?
No. Nope.
Maybe you didn't do it right.
I didn't have a candle.
Yeah.
That's
the key part.
I probably should have spun around 12 times.
Obviously.
Just throw everything at the wall at once and see what sticks. So spin around 12 times, chant that you killed her baby, light 100 candles.
Say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Light 100 candles, nail the Ouija board behind you on the mirror so she can see. So it's like a
duel of the fates kind of scenario.
Exactly.
I like it.
And maybe then it wouldn't have failed. But
I mean, it'd be worth a try.
We should.
Let's do it, and we'll come right back.
Right now. Let's go attempt it in the bathroom.
Okay.
I need a Ouija. I think I have a Ouija board, actually.
And we're back.
Yeah. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. We're still here.
Except Nick's missing his eyeballs.
Yeah, just gouged them. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm excited about this episode, man. The fall weather got me in a spooky kind of mood this week, so I'm super stoked about that.
It was so nice. It was nice. For a week. For a week, we got a taste of the weeks to come.
That glorious, crispy fall weather.
What do you look forward to the most during the fall?
Halloween.
He said it with such confidence.
That's all I live for anymore. It's just spooky season.
Yeah, that's true.
I got maybe 80% of my Halloween decorations out inside of my house. I still got to do outside, but I got a lot of the Halloween stuff inside going on.
And it's August 25th.
Yeah, it is. But it's, how different really is it than the people that decorate for Christmas, before Thanksgiving?
That's true. That's a fair point.
It'll be here before you know it, and then it's gone. Might as well get another extra week or two of spooky.
I keep seeing things about Summerween.
Oh yeah.
That's there's a real huge push.
Yeah.
to make that a thing.
Yeah. And it should be a thing.
Yeah. That's.
But it's supposed to be celebrated halfway to Halloween, which is May or June.
Okay.
At the end of May or June. That's the way I took it. Half to Halloween, but I guess Summerween works too. So maybe 100 days out from Halloween, and let's just go ahead and celebrate.
Yeah. No, and I think we talked about this last week, but it's definitely a nostalgic thing.
It is.
for Halloween that time of year. The fall is definitely my favorite time of year.
Oh, it's so good.
Just the smells and the food.
They have the best smells.
They have the best smells.
I just got I got a car warmer or a car scent.
Yeah.
Pumpkin bonfire.
Oh God.
Oh, so good.
I'm waiting to get my fluffy, my comfy fall sweater and be sitting out on the front porch.
Drinking a cup of nice pumpkin spice coffee and
cup of Joe. Nice donut.
Do you prefer pumpkin spice or maple? Which one is the superior flavor in your opinion in fall? We can do a bracket. Favorite fall flavor bracket.
Ooh, it's tough. I'm gonna have to be pretty basic, and I'm gonna go with the PSL.
Pumpkin spice.
But I like me a nice maple bacon donut.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So
I can get down with that.
So the best of both worlds. But you throw in a pumpkin cheesecake muffin. Oof.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. A pumpkin cheesecake muffin?
Yeah.
That sounds incredible.
Yeah. I got like a nice coffee crumble on top with like cheesecake filling.
Keep talking dirty.
Yeah, it for sure. It's definitely. I'll never forget though. Like probably like 5 years ago now, Rooster Moon in on the north end of Hagerstown. Mm-hmm. It was. It probably was like this was in the news the other day. Starbucks was talking about how they released like their pumpkin spice latte for the season. And
they sure did. I already had one.
Oh my God. And I'll probably have one tomorrow. But so it was probably around this time, a couple of years ago, and we went to Rooster Moon, and I didn't really like know it. Like I had a taste for it. So I was like, can I get a pumpkin spice latte? And the barista just cuts me like the dirtiest look. just like the life just drained from her face.
It just suddenly dawned on her that people are going to start ordering these, and now this is her life.
It's that season, yeah. No. And like it was kind of like I looked at her face and I genuinely wanted to apologize. I was like, I am so sorry. Like,
I did not realize it was September 3rd, and
I just reminded you of something that I promise you that wasn't my intention. Like, I was not. You know what? Don't even make it. Just I'll have a regular cup of coffee.
Just black.
Just black coffee, please.
Actually, you know what? I don't even. I got you coffee.
Yeah, that is like my pumpkin spice latte story that has like stuck with me ever since. Like every time I order one now, I think of that barista.
Man, that poor barista.
Yeah.
What about you? What's fall for you? What's your favorite fall activity?
Definitely bonfires. Pumpkin patching.
Oh
yeah. Love me a good pumpkin patch.
My favorite is, well, besides Halloween, that apple festival we go to.
Oh yeah.
That's like the perfect kickoff to fall for me.
Apple cider donuts. Oh,
apple cider everything.
If they actually have them every now and then, the apple cigars that we get. Yeah, my God, it's so good.
Were they apple cider cigars?
Or no, they were
apple whiskey or moonshine. It was apple pie moonshine. That's
moonshine.
What it was.
Yeah, moonshine cigars.
Moonshine,
That they sprayed it with the moonshine. Like had like the bourbon. Oh my God, it's so good.
Good stuff. Can't wait for that. That's coming up soon.
Yeah. Well, I definitely would like to go. Renfest is another.
God, yeah.
The Renfest.
Renfest is the best. I can't wait for Renfest.
The turkey leg. Like unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna go this year.
Oh, that's tragic.
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I'll pass on it this year, but it'll make it that much more better next year. Like
you think that
I'll wait for my crab cake, not my crab cake, my crab pretzel and my turkey leg.
I couldn't do it. I don't think I could take a year off of Renfest. I just love it too much.
We went last year and it's like, maybe we'll see. We'll see. But definitely Renfest. I like the PA one more.
Oh, I do too.
More than the Maryland one.
Yeah, I do too. For sure.
They have
their meat is. Sorry, Maryland Ren Fair, but Mount Hope, their meat is better than the Linganore stuff.
I have never had their meat.
It's so good.
Wait a minute.
It's so crispy.
Oh, I've had snake bites from there, so maybe I have had their meat.
No, probably. Yeah.
Is that the okay?
Well, a snake bite, it depends on. No, a snake bite is half Guinness and half other beer. No,
I'm thinking of a bee sting. I'm thinking of a bee sting. Yeah.
Man, bee stings are so good.
Delicious.
Anyways,
but we'll see. Yeah, Renfest, pumpkin patching, pumpkin spice lattes.
Let us know your fall plans in the comments out there. I'd like to hear what you guys do to celebrate the spooky season in the fall time.
Oh my God!
Outside of listening to your favorite spooky podcast, Shadows and Sightings,
for sure.
Which coming up, just a peek behind the veil. I know we're going to be doing kind of more topical things as we roll into fall, so we're definitely going to be having like a Halloween special. And we're going to dive into some ghost stories and things like that. Just, I think it would be cool to have like an episode outside of the Halloween special where we're going to talk about like the origins and history of Halloween. Yeah. Just have like an episode where it's like, we just reminisce on the stuff that we used to do as kids for Halloween.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. So keep your ears peeled. Can you have your ears peeled for that?
Ooh, you kind of morbid.
Speaking of morbid, Bloody Mary.
Yeah. Bloody Mary.
Today's episode.
It's urban legend. It's a classic amongst like, I feel like it's like that classic teenage little kid, like urban legend.
Yeah. It's like right when you're like elementary school, early middle school kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. When we were little, our parents told us stories of like the boogeyman to kind of like keep us.
I never had those stories.
Yeah, like the genre of it though, like the theme of the boogeyman, like kind of comes out when you're like a little kid, and then like you said, you get to middle school. Bloody Mary's kind of like that next step up. It's like the thing you do at like a slumber party,
right?
You know, like
very popular slumber party because it's like to test your
bravery,
your
bravery, exactly. And I guess your curiosity too,
your mental fortitude,
your mental fortitude, bravery. I think it's boredom too. Like, it's like boredom, but also like you're kind of curious about like, oh wait, we can summon a ghost. Like, hell yeah, let's do that. And then you do.
But in your house, if you summoned a ghost in your house, you would have been screwed. Your mom would have beat you.
Oh, that's a funny story about that. So like, I remember when I was a kid, I actually messed with like a makeshift Ouija board, and my grandma, who's a little Hispanic lady. Very, the Catholic Hispanic lady.
I met your grandma.
Yeah. She lost it. I've never seen my grandma so pissed in my life.
I can imagine.
Like she was speaking in Spanish, like, a million times, a second. Like I couldn't even understand. That set her off. She put like 3 rosaries around me. She was like,
she was like, in holy water.
Yeah. I got the holy water out. I was she's like doused me in holy water. She pulled out her Bibles, like making me read verses out of the Bible and stuff like that. Like she was like, just one full on, like, oh my gosh. She was like, we were nibbling this in the body. I've never seen her so angry, and it's pretty funny. Funny now. I look back at that, and she was probably actually like traumatized.
She was very concerned.
She was very concerned.
Those Catholics, they don't mess with them.
It was like that's another thing. Like Ouija boards is like another thing that teenagers do. But yeah,
I don't know. I've never messed with a Ouija board. I'm afraid to mess with a Ouija board.
I think there's some validity.
I would do it maybe in a neutral location. I don't want to do it in my house. Just in case.
Like, all right, let's do this in the middle of this Dollar General.
I was gonna say, just go order a Big Mac, send the McDonald's. Hey, by the way, sorry guys, but McDonald's is haunted now.
Sitting in the middle of a Starbucks, like pulling out your laptop and a Ouija board, like, can you not do that here because I don't want you to haunt.
We don't need the ghost of a very pretentious writer.
It's like, oh great, now my Starbucks is haunted, and I can't work under
now
these
it's haunted milk all over again.
Haunted milk is back, But so what exactly is Bloody Mary?
Bloody Mary is a piece of folklore that originated sometime, I believe, from what I read, around the 17th century.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Some debate on who the identification of Bloody Mary is and if she's actually based on a real person or not. A number of historical figures have been put forward as candidates for Bloody Mary. Some of the most popular ones are Mary I of England. I guess that's how you would say her name, Mary the First.
Mary the First.
Mary the First of England.
It's normally Mary Tudor.
She was the daughter of Henry VIII. She had about 300 religious Protestant dissenters burned at the stake during her reign.
Oh yeah.
Another popular one is, and this is the one we were kind of talking about a little bit earlier, who we think, if there's going to be any ghost associated with this legend more than this person, I don't know who that could possibly be, but Elizabeth Bathory, who was a 17th century Hungarian countess who allegedly tortured and killed around 660 girls and women, bathed in their blood, and was also accused of being a vampire.
Yep.
So that would be a pretty good basis of I feel like bloody ghost if I've ever heard of one.
I feel like we could do a whole episode just on her.
Oh, maybe. We probably
freaking wild.
This might turn into an episode on her. So.
It was wild.
And then one of the last ones is Mary Worth, who seems to have been identified as either a woman who killed slaves escaping the South via the Underground Railroad or a woman who was burned at the stake during the witch trials. But the Mary Worth story doesn't really hold much credence to me because, one, if she's an American folklore person, we know that no witches, quote unquote, witches were burned at the stake in Salem. I'm assuming this is where that comes from. I don't know if there was any burnings of witches, supposed witches anywhere else, but all the witches in Salem are hung. It says early modern period. It could have been a European witch trial, but Mary Worth seems to be somewhat of a fictional character. Some people think that because there were so many Marys in the Salem witch trials, it could have just been one of them, and that's just kind of got turned into Mary Worth in some capacity.
I never knew. Wait, that's like new to me. So, side note, none of the witches were burned at Salem. They're all hung.
No, they were all hung.
What?
Yeah.
I thought they were burned at the stake.
Nope, they were all hung. The only exception was Giles Corey, who was pressed to death.
what is that thing called when like you remember something different?
The Mandela effect?
The Mandela effect. Yeah. I was like, wait a minute.
I mean, it's not just you. A lot of people make that misconception that witches are burned at the stake because that's what they did in Europe.
Huh. Interesting.
But none of the Salem victims were burned. They were just hung. I say that like it's still a tragic thing.
Yeah. It's like another hang.
Yeah. That's because we were in Salem at Proctor's Ledge.
Yeah.
That's where the hangings occurred. That was what that monument was for.
Where was Proctor's Ledge? Was that the one behind the CVS?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I bet that CVS is haunted. If I had to make a case for a haunted CVS, I'm thinking of the one right next to where all the supposed witches in Salem got hung.
And ironically, it has nothing to do with the Salem witch trial. Some guy just walked in there with a Ouija board.
Yeah, like, God damn it. Another Ouija board. Yeah, the Mary Worth story is one we're going to explore a little bit, but that one doesn't hold as much credence to me. One, because there's no Mary Worth in the Salem witch trials. Two, never was burned at the stake. Could have been a person who had a great hatred of slavery or slaves being free, and she was killing slaves. That I guess could be possible, but
that's the one from the American South one. That's like supposedly
the same person.
Yeah,
like Mary Worth seems to be essentially just a made up character from a couple of different time frames.
Yeah. Okay. So there's really no consistent. Well, I mean, there's quote unquote consistency, but not a lot of like hearsay. Like no real
evidence of her ever being a real person.
So then I think in the more common, it seems to be a mix between Elizabeth Bathory and Mary or Mary Tudor, the Queen of England, where her nickname actually was Bloody Mary because of like
all the
300 something
people being burned at the stake.
Yeah, which it's not crazy. I mean, to think about it, but why would you want to summon her?
I don't know if you really want to summon her. It goes back to the way I kind of interpret it, I guess, it's like you said, it's an act of bravery when you're hanging out with your friends or something like that. So who you're summoning, I don't think is really relevant. Like you're not actively trying to summon the Queen of England.
Just show me some. It's like, huh. I didn't really think that's what you would look like.
I didn't think this one. No tea, no crumpets, nothing. It's
just like,
I can't say why. Maybe some Mary Tudor sympathizers back in the day were really trying to get her back. I don't know. And that's how it started. But
I mean, it would explain how, because of like the violent past, because like the reign of like King Henry VIII and then Mary, it was pretty violent. Like Henry was like worse than what she was or whatever. Mm-hmm. And like how many wives did he like end up like murdering?
Almost all of them.
Was it all of them? Yeah, it was
except for like the last one that finally gave him a son.
Yeah, and so a lot of bloodshed, a lot of like political turmoil with like the Tudor family, which would explain how with the actual folklore of Bloody Mary, like summoning this, whether it's a ghost, a phantom, a spirit, a demon, whatever it is, mm-hmm. sometimes it could be malevolent, or sometimes it's kind of like neutral. It's just like
it's just kind of there,
kind of just shows up. Tying it back to Mary Tudor, it makes sense that if it was kind of like a violent ghost, because there's like a lot of violence and like
her or Elizabeth Bathory.
Yeah, exactly. Which would make sense, mm-hmm. And I always thought it was kind of funny, like how like you summon,
like what the ritual consists of.
What the rituals consist of. And there's the common theme amongst it where it's you need a mirror. So what was it called? It's a form of divination. Cantranapa,
something like that. It's a word.
It's a big word. It's a big fancy word. It's catapromancy.
Catapromancy.
Yeah, I think I'm saying that right. Okay, using mirrors. We'll go with it. Yeah, we're using mirrors or crystals to try to contact the spirit world. With Bloody Mary, though, there's typically a light source, whether it could be a candle, it could be a flashlight.
You just go in with a flashlight and she finally appears and she's like, what the fuck is that?
Freaking out like where's the candle? Like, oh no, this is a flashlight. A what?
What sorcery is this?
It's like, oh yeah, that's right, you're like an old ghost from back in the day. Yeah. Like we have these things now called flashlights, I'm like, and this is a light switch. No. Freaking out. So you have some sort of like light source, and it's this whole thing is a form of divination, which is the practice of determining the hidden significance or cause of events, sometimes by foretelling the future by various natural, psychological, or other techniques. It's pretty much found across all civilizations, both ancient and modern. And a lot of times, when you look at it, it's just like looking for patterns and things in there. So like reading tea leaves or,
palm readings.
Palm reading, it's like looking
tarot cards, I guess.
Tarot cards is another one. The Ouija board technically is like a form of it. That's where, summoning Bloody Mary kind of falls into that same realm.
Oh, yeah.
Why do people summon Bloody Mary?
From what I gathered, the way it started was it was a way for young women to potentially see their future husband. So they would do the ritual. Some instances, it would require you to hold the candle, the mirror facing you, and walk backwards upstairs. And while you were staring in the mirror, you would see the face of your future lover, or possibly you would see a skull, which means you would die before you ever got married.
But yeah. So like I saw about like the steps, like walking up backwards. Mm-hmm. So in this instance, you're holding the mirror in front of your face with a candle and walking up backwards.
Candle, I guess, on one hand, a mirror, and the other walking up backwards, I guess, doing the ritual of saying her name. Okay, that makes sense. I thought so that's like, because there's so many different variations. Oh yeah,
of how to summon Bloody Mary. I thought there was one where the mirror is kind of like on the wall, and you're walking up the steps with the candle saying Bloody Mary, and when you pass in front of the mirror, you're supposed to see a face.
Oh, that could be.
And that could just be like another variation of it.
It could be.
I've seen in the research, I found that, which I thought was kind of ironic, but you can chant the name Bloody Mary 3 times instead of 13 times. Mm-hmm. You could chant it 7 times instead of 13. Instead of gazing into the mirror while chanting Bloody Mary name, you spin slowly in place. After the 12th repetition, stop spinning, face the mirror, and chant the 13th repetition while looking in the mirror. Replace the chant of Bloody Mary with the chant of Bloody Mary, I stole your baby or I killed your baby.
Which I would assume, just piss her off. Why you would want to?
Yeah,
why you would want to do that? I don't know.
Just like, you think like after saying that she's going to respond like calmly to that?
Yeah.
It
she
was
just cracks her knuckles when she comes out of the mirror.
Pulls a baseball bat out. It's like, wait,
where'd you get that?
Those aren't invented for. It just like opens the mirror up and like kind of just steps through.
Heard you was talking shit.
It's like you replace the chant of Bloody Mary with the chant of I believe in Mary Worth.
I have seen I believe in Bloody Mary. I didn't see I believe in Mary Worth.
I kind of feel like you could find so many different variations of it though, like online.
For all my wrestling fans out there, there's a guy now going where if you say his name, he appears, Joe Hendry, and you say, I believe in Joe Hendry. It's the most catchy song of all time. It's so stupid, but so great.
Is that like
his whole gimmick is it's kind of like a Bloody Mary thing. But he's like a Scottish dude who just shows up like when somebody says his name, he literally just pops out of a cupboard or like there's a piece of the set where he just like a refrigerator. He just pops out of the refrigerator. It's so funny. He's so over.
I guess I can always I don't really watch wrestling too much, but like I can appreciate like the novelty of like wrestling.
Yeah, like it's so goofy that you just can't
you like laugh at it. It's like, what is going on here? Like the storylines that kind of come.
Yeah, I mean, it goes to show how literally any kind of folklore can still be interpreted into just a dumb thing like that is.
Yeah.
Not that I think wrestling's dumb. I'm a big wrestling fan. But.
No. What if you say his name 3 times in the mirror and like Bloody Mary shows up, but you say Bloody Mary 3 times in the mirror and he shows up?
They have to get in a match.
They wrestle.
Yeah.
There's like a Reddit. It's pretty, I don't know what started this subreddit, but it's like, if you look up potato salad on Reddit, it's pictures of John Cena.
Okay.
But if you type in John Cena, it's pictures of potato salad. Like, I don't know what started it. I'm pretty sure it's what it is.
Like Reddit's a crazy place, so who knows?
Oh, Reddit's fucking wild. I love it. God, I love Reddit. Like, it's so great.
I wonder what Reddit has to say about Bloody Mary. I didn't go down the Reddit rabbit hole on what Bloody Mary
I didn't think to do that. Probably, we should check it out.
See if anybody has any experiences on Reddit with summoning her.
Well, there was a lot of the research that I was doing. There were people commenting in like the articles and stuff about like, don't do it. I've summoned her and now she won't go away. And I did it and nothing happened. And I did it and I'm glad she's here. We're best friends now. And we get coffee every Tuesday at my local cafe. Like, it's just
good for them. Just imagine showing up to a Starbucks with Bloody Mary tagging along.
Okay, so when you hear Bloody Mary, what do you envision?
I envision, okay, so this is a very, very specific pool, but have you ever played Twisted Metal Black?
Yeah.
There was a character named Bloody Mary in the game. She drove the Spectre car.
Okay.
And she was a girl in a white wedding dress who she got the wedding dress because she stabbed the bride to death because she was a bridesmaid, and then the bride or whatever, like, threw the bouquet, and something happened where it was designed to miss her completely or something along those lines. Either way, she took it as a slight and stabbed the bride to death. And so the dress is all bloody, but that's what I picture. She's just in a white dress, all covered in blood, with like a wedding veil. But because that's where I know her kind of from, outside of the local folklore or whatever. That's what I picture her as.
Yeah, I always envisioned her as like kind of dressed up like a housemaid almost.
Okay.
Like a maiden, and like with the apron's like covered in blood.
Oh.
And there's like blood coming out of her eyes.
Ooh.
Very pale
like
skin.
No eyes at all, or
she has eyes.
Okay.
It's just like bloody, like just pale skin and just like a lifeless stare, like staring at you like in the mirror. That's what I was like when first time I heard it. And I was like, "What is that, Bloody Mary?"
That would be creepy.
I think it was like 5 or 6 first time.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I mean, Twisted Metal Black came out in like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So I was still a kid then. So that's how my view of her got formed for sure.
Yeah.
Which Twisted Metal Black, that character is insane. It's pretty cool. I mean, again, we'll probably talk about pop culture references because we usually do at the end of the episodes. But the ritual involves chanting her name. Some say that Bloody Mary might either appear in the mirror, reach out of the mirror and scratch the participant's face, or be released from the afterlife to haunt them or her forever. Released from the afterlife to haunt him or her forever. Other versions of the story include the mirror dripping blood, the participant's hair turning white, or the participant disappearing without a trace.
That's wild. Probably like pulled in the mirror into the spirit realm.
There are some people that think that, yeah.
Pulled like that spirits there, which I mean, it's not surprising. Mirrors seem to play a huge part in like a lot of like divination, folklore kind of things like that. Did you ever see Constantine?
The movie?
With Keanu Reeves?
I did not.
Like the opening of the film, he gets called to like perform an exorcism. And that was like the whole thing. I need a mirror. And like they just, I'm assuming it was like Chinese. I'm not sure. Like some little Asiatic family. Like,
hey, did you say Asiatic?
Asiatic?
Asian works.
Asian? Yeah, Asian.
I think you're overcomplicated.
An Asian family. They bring him this mirror, and it's like a huge mirror. The thing is like a 10-foot mirror, and like it's a girl that's like possessed, and she sees her reflection, but then like it shows what she's looking at, and it's like the demon in like the reflection of the mirror.
Oh.
And he's like, but the demon like starts punching.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah, pretty much.
Got like, demons in your blood.
Yeah, pretty much like that's what it is. And the demon like starts trying to punch the mirror to like get out of the mirror, and he's like trying to shatter the mirror while so like it's always like seen as like a gateway, I guess, to like
mirrors have always been kind of that way.
Gateway, and like which is not surprising.
Pools of water and stuff like that.
Yeah,
you can see anything with a reflection.
Yeah, it's like the other realm or whatever, like the Fey world. I don't know if that's right or not.
The Fey realm.
The Fey realm.
Yeah, some also have stories of Bloody Mary quite literally dripping in blood when she appears behind you. Others telling of her dragging you away if you turn around to look at her in person, as well as more macabre tales that talk of violent murders and blood pouring from taps. So
I would be so mad.
Yeah.
If
this is going to mess up your plumbing.
Like I just paid $3,000 to have this pump installed.
Yeah.
And now there's
blood just
coagulated blood in my pipe drains, in my drains.
Nobody likes that. The plumber shows up like, what happened here?
It's, God, is this Bloody Mary again?
It was the third time this week. There are some nameless iterations of Bloody Mary being a witch, a woman that died too young, a woman who had her face horribly scarred due to a horrific accident, a woman whose child died, and in some cases the child died at her own hand. Some legends even go as far as to say that she is the Virgin Mary. Some say she's the devil's sister, daughter, or wife. In some stories, Mary isn't even based on an actual person, but she's manifested into existence by pure belief. of whoever is performing the ritual.
Isn't that like terrifying?
It would be.
That there's like this idea that you can summon things just by like, through the power of believing in them.
Mm-hmm.
I can attest to you that it never works.
Yeah, me either.
I have been believing that I'm going to win the lottery since I was like 5, and I have yet to do so. So I'm kind of calling bullshit on that theory.
Yeah, I don't think that's I think that's how it works.
I believe that I don't have to go to work today. It's Monday and this sucks and I still have to go to work.
Yeah.
And like so
you got to call out sick due to Bloody Mary.
Yeah. Clogging my pipes.
Sorry, boss, can't come in today. Shower's clogged.
Is it Bloody Mary again? How'd you know?
I just tried that yesterday.
And I had to call my plumber. Is there any way to get rid of Bloody Mary? Once you've summoned her, is there any way to like dispel the spirit?
That's a good one. I don't know.
I did find that there are supposedly, but this was just, I don't know how much truth there is behind this because I did some digging and I really couldn't like find anything else on it. But apparently there are ways to get rid of her once you actually summon her. One is you you sprinkle vinegar on the 4 corners of the room that you summon Bloody Mary in.
Okay.
And then has like some effect. Don't know what it does, but apparently.
What if you do a salt circle? You think a salt circle would work?
I think that would.
Just keep her trapped there forever in a salt circle?
Yeah, but then you're stuck there with like this weird lady upstairs in your attic. Like, it's just like every time you go up there, she's staring at you.
She's in like the hallway closet.
Like, that'd be terrible. Every time you open your closet, and like she's they're staring
just use
at
her
you.
as a coat rack.
Just like here, like it's just like position her arms. Like,
you mind just holding these for me real quick, Mary? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Mary. I knew we can count on you. Like,
honey, have you seen my cardigan? Yeah, it's on Bloody Mary.
Yeah, it's like Mary's got it. Oh, of course. Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, Mary. I always forget that we have that. I don't need to go to IKEA. I have a Bloody Mary.
Yeah. Well, we have to really have a permanent place in the house for her.
Yeah, like it's like, what would be the ideal spot for Bloody Mary in your home?
I would say
you don't want to put her in a closet. That's rude.
But she would be out of the way.
I mean, I think the attic's good.
Everybody has an attic.
That's true.
Or a basement. You have to go with the assumption that we're dealing with 1-story ranchers here.
Okay, fine.
Mudroom, maybe? Like next to a washer and dryer?
Mudroom, yeah. Like make her hold like the detergent stuff.
Yeah.
Position in her hand so like she can squeeze the button.
You just might give her too much power.
I don't know.
She might be able to use the detergent to get out. Maybe. Clean the salt off the floor.
That's true. We don't want to risk management. This is all this is. This is all. We got to be smart about this. We got to be.
Yeah, this is just advice for when you summon Bloody Mary on tips and tricks to try out to keep her safe and away from everybody else.
Disclaimer. I mean, this is all on you, man. If you want to try to summon Bloody Mary on your own, that's all on you.
This is just advice.
But if you try to use her as a coat rack and it doesn't work out on that, don't blame us. Don't blame us.
We're not liable.
We're not liable for that. So throwing vinegar in the corners of the room is one way. I saw one thing that said for 3 nights in a row, you take soap and you draw a cross in the mirror.
Is she still in the mirror?
That's what it did say. I thought the same thing. That's how
they get you.
I thought the same thing. I was like, wait, okay. So, all right, I'm going to use my soap and draw this cross in the mirror. Is she staring at me while this is going on?
Don't do it.
Like, what? Yeah, is she like trying to talk to me? Like, it's like to talk me out of it? Like, is it... What happens during the day? If I walk in the bathroom to use the restroom and I look to my right, is she just sitting there glaring at me, like walking as I go by?
Imagine just taking the gnarliest Taco Bell shit. She's just sitting there staring at you the whole time. Oh, that would be awful.
Just like, I would put like a blanket or something, like a towel.
I'm just gonna draw this cross on here real quick. This is for me, not you.
no, but you look great.
I had 6 double chalupas today.
This cross is not for you. This is
from her point of view. She just sees this go down, and then just the most disgusting fart noises that have ever been heard by any human. She just like quietly walks away. You're like, you know what? I don't think I want to be in this bathroom anymore.
That's the exorcism. That's what you do.
Yeah.
That's what makes her go away.
Just fart loudly. Shit loudly in your bathroom. That makes Bloody Mary go away.
You need 6 quesadillas from Taco Bell, a bar of Irish Spring soap,
A rosary.
a towel,
And
like a pack of Trident gum. And
keep this in like a lunchbox in your cabinet
in
or
your
something.
Bloody Mary emergency pack.
It's on the wall. Break glass in case of Bloody
If
Mary.
you need it.
Break glass in case of Bloody Mary.
Oh my gosh. And so
Because after she supposedly appears, there's some pretty gnarly stuff that goes down from what I've seen.
all kinds of nonsense.
Yeah. So she is frequently seen wearing a white dress. It seems 50-50 as to whether or not the woman will appear covered in blood or not. In many iterations, the woman will violently attack the summoner either to the point of death or serious injury. In some cases, she will scratch out your eyes. So you definitely want to have that Trident gum on hand.
Okay, so what would be in like your Bloody Mary? Like think of all of like the ghost folklore that you know of, all of like the exorcism folklore that you know of.
Okay.
Bloody Mary is the entity. What is in
my arsenal?
your arsenal
to get rid of her?
To get rid of her or to combat her.
Father Dave down the street. Just bring him in.
That's he shows up. He turns to you. You have any quesadillas?
I guess I would say, yeah, rosary seems to do the trick. Holy water is always like a major one.
No.
I don't know. I'd have to figure out what actual exorcists bring. A Bible, I guess, and just start yelling Bible verses at them.
Like, okay, here's my thing. Is there a language barrier?
Well, I guess it would depend on which version of
So,
Bloody
like, if
Mary
this,
you get.
like,
If you get Mary Queen of Scots or whatever, Mary Tudor or Elizabeth Bathory.
Yeah. If it's like
Who
the
knows?
Hungarian, if it's like Elizabeth Bathory, like the Hungarian, and like I have this Bible and I'm like reciting these like phrases in English, does it not work because she's like Hungarian?
That's how it always like, and they say it in Latin too.
Yeah. What if they
Why
don't
is
understand
Latin always
Latin?
like who speaks Latin?
And what if they don't understand it?
Yeah. Then
Like-
what? You're screwed.
Like it's does that like disqualify? Like it's like, oh, it's got to be in Latin. You can't like it has no
you have to
power
say it in
here.
the King's Old English. You can't use any of this new fancy
Yeah,
stuff.
like if it's like a new Bible, like does that
The King James edition.
Like, yeah, like does that disqualify it?
Right.
Like it's got to be this Bible, you know. These are the things that like I always question. Like, well, wait a minute. Oh, well, this exorcism is not going to work. What kind of holy water is that?
Yeah.
You know?
What is this, tap?
Like, has this been blessed? Like,
We specifically said it has to be Fiji blessed by a priest at a Presbyterian church
on a Sunday before Easter.
who was not wearing white after Labor Day.
Yeah, no, it's just like, so I kind of feel like these are the important details that we need to know about to prepare ourselves for when
We
we
should bring in a priest to tell us what an exorcism, like find a priest that has performed an exorcism and see what their experience with it was.
like, does he just like rates kits? Like he has a TikTok where he just rates kits. Like exorcism.
Okay.
Like rates.
I
Like,
thought you said something way different.
no, like not a rape kit. He's rating not a rape kit. He's rating exorcism kits.
Well, then I thought you said rating kids. I was like, don't do that either.
no. Like he's like reviewing. There we go. He's reviewing exorcism kits.
He's giving a 1 through 10 on an exorcism preparedness plan.
And it's just like, it's like those videos of like Gordon Ramsay, like looking at cooking techniques.
Yeah,
And he's like,
he's
what
just
are they
disgusted
doing?
the whole time.
He's like, yeah, it's like that, but for these different kits. And he's just like looking through like, oh, wooden cross. And like, what is this? Like,
It's not right. You gotta have a silver cross.
yeah, it's got to be,
Everybody knows that.
yeah, where's your salt? There's no
Right,
salt.
right.
Like, this
Gotta be Himalayan.
This person's screwed. Like,
This person's done for.
like it, I mean, with the vinegar on the walls, the soap on
Now, here's the question. Can you summon and dispel her simultaneously? Have your exorcism kit ready to go, have the vinegar on the wall, the salt and all that stuff to prevent her from coming back. Like you summon her, she shows up, instantly gets bitch slapped by all of the stuff you have in preparedness of sending her back to hell where she came from.
I don't know.
Or does it continue? Does it keep her in a time loop where she's just in limbo the whole time, where she can't be brought fully forward to be summoned and she can't be sent back? Thoughts on that?
I mean, I would imagine, like I'm telling you, if you look up like how to dispel Bloody Mary, like I didn't find much on it. Like it's
Maybe she can't be dispelled.
And then that's a possibility. You know, it's like once she's here. She's not like going anywhere. There seems to be a common theme, like don't break the mirror. And I'm guessing it's that like breaking the mirror it's what's keeping her in that spirit realm. So if you break the mirror, that kind of opens up a portal for her to kind of show up. But it kind of contradicts, though, the reports with like the other aspects of the folk legend where she can pull you in.
Yes.
Or she materializes behind you if you like turn around, you know, and you see her, you know, which that was the one that I was always brought up to believe. Like,
because she doesn't appear in the mirror. She appears in the room behind you.
Yeah, as a reflection or whatever. Right. And like you turn around and then she's in the same room.
And then that's when she kills you.
Yeah, that's what I always was told growing up or whatever. And so I'm not sure. I don't know if like once you summon her, if there's a way to get rid of her.
Or you just become best friends like people on Reddit say they have.
Yeah. They're just like, oh yeah, I meet up with her every Tuesday and we do crossword puzzles together.
Yeah.
Because that's what friends do. I don't know.
So yeah, like you said, I have in my notes here, sometimes she'll grab the summoner and drag her back into the mirror to live with her, which I mean, that sounds nice. Free rent, depending on how nice her place is. Can't imagine Bloody Mary's place is super nice, but.
I mean, if it's like Queen Mary the First or like Elizabeth Bathory, I'm assuming it would be like
a castle.
It'd be a castle.
Just maybe a little messed up.
Yeah.
Little messed up castle.
Haunted castle. Like
obviously, yeah.
Like Castlevania haunted, like Dracula.
Oof.
Like lives there.
Yeah, so in some cases, if she appears, she's just going to stare malevolently out through the mirror. And in some cases, seeing her brings bad luck, but others say it brings happiness.
I'm not sure there'd be nothing happy. Happiness is not an emotion that registers within me when I see Bloody Mary.
In some versions, nothing happens right after the ritual. Sometimes the consequences come later.
That would suck.
Just like 2 or 3, like a month later, you forget that you even did it.
Like all that hype, nothing happens. What is a waste of time? You're leaving for work one day and you stub your toe and she pops in like the little reflection in like the mirror. I told you, bitch.
Just cold cock you.
Yeah. Oh,
in some versions, you wake up the next day covered in bloody scratches. In some, it's your own face that changes. Some you're missing your eyes. Mostly you're covered in blood. And in one particularly interesting case, you will see yourself upside down and face covered in blood. And every time you look in the mirror, Bloody Mary will appear until you become her. So that is metal.
That should be a movie.
I think that was a movie.
Where the person becomes Bloody Mary.
Yeah, I think so. I seen a movie about Bloody Mary a long time ago. I don't really remember what it was called. Or
there is a film that came out like 2005, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You got like a 3.4 on IMDb, like a 28% on Rotten Tomatoes. That to me sounds like cinematic gold that we should
have watched before we started.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was that one or not. It might have been 2006. I feel like I was younger than that though. And there was another one that came out in like the 80s.
Let's see, that checks out. That Bloody Mary seems like a film of the 80s. and like there's a crossover between Bloody Mary versus Jason.
Oh man, Jason would win.
Think so?
Yeah, I think he would.
Did they do Michael Myers versus Jason?
No, that was Freddy versus Jason.
Freddy versus Jason. I saw that one.
Great movie.
I remember when that came out. It was like such a big deal. I remember you talking about it.
Yeah.
Like you were like obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Like you were like, oh my God, like, this is so great. Like Freddy versus Jason.
So we've kind of touched on the origins a little bit. Dived into the ritual that it takes to summon her. I'd like to circle back to where the origins come in, though, because each individual version of who Bloody Mary could be, I feel like we could kind of dig into that a little bit before we move on. Yeah,
sure. So, the Mary Tudor, it's between her and Elizabeth Bathory. Where,
in your opinion?
From what I read, in my opinion, I think it kind of comes from like those two.
Yeah, I have the three. Well, I have actually another one too, but
I think there's such a strong association with like Bloody Mary and like the whole Bloody Mary, I stole your child, or Bloody Mary, I killed your child. I think where that comes from is tied more so from Mary Tudor. And the reason why is Mary Tudor had what's called a molar pregnancy. Supposedly, that's what happened. So Mary, of course, because she's a queen, she's trying to have a kid, like to try to secure her, her legitimacy as like a queen and, to continue like the bloodline. There are
specifically a son.
There are like written reports that people swear she was pregnant. She was like, okay. And I think she even like announced it. Like I'm having, so it's everybody knows. But then one day she's just not pregnant anymore and there's no child. And people are like, well, wait a minute. Like you you said that, like you were having a kid, like you had a baby bump. What happened? And the theory is that she actually had a molar pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you who don't know what a molar pregnancy is, it's essentially you give birth to this like lump of like flesh. It's kind of like a tumor. And you still have like the whole spiel of like going through the pregnancy, like your stomach, because like you're growing this mass or whatever. But it's essentially like a giant tumor that is like that's what you give birth to. I'm not sure. Like I'm not a doctor or anything like that. I don't know.
Oh, you're not?
You didn't know?
You had me fooled.
And I read that there were some instances where this tumor thing still has like qualities though of like it being like a human. So like it's just like this amalgamation of like flesh.
Right.
There's like just like supposedly that's like what like believe that's what like happened in some circles that she had and that could be the association or the link between the whole I stole your child thing and why that enrages like Bloody Mary so much is like she's this apparition of Mary Tudor. She had like that pregnancy issue come up and she's grieving or whatever. So what I didn't find was I wonder if there's anything out there between Bloody Mary, you summon her and then she goes after your child.
Oh, I don't think I see anything on that.
I haven't. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But like,
so I think I feel like it's more based on the summoner, the person performing the ritual who gets the consequences, not anybody else.
Yeah, like so I'm wondering if there's like versions because I came across so many different versions of like Bloody Mary and so many variations. I wonder if that's one that exists out there. She'll take your kids or she'll come after your kids.
It could be. I mean, this is a folklore legend that spans globally, so it's very possible that it's one like that. I also seen that it's another alleged suspect is Mary Queen of Scots.
Ooh, yeah. That was her cousin.
That was her cousin.
That was her cousin.
That was
like
OG Bloody Mary. Yeah, Mary Queen of Scots was her cousin. She had a plot to kill her.
Yeah.
And she went to trial and was executed. Yep. So maybe not too much of a leg to stand on, but just the fact that she's named Mary, I guess, or Mary, has at least somewhat of a tie to the suspected original Bloody Mary, I guess is enough for some people to throw her name in the mix.
There's like so much history behind like the Tudor family and all that.
Oh, it's so crazy.
It's nuts. It's insane. Mary Queen.
That's why they made a Netflix show on it.
The Tudors, yeah.
With Henry Cavill.
You have a younger Henry Cavill. He's not Edward. He's his brother, right?
I don't know. I just know he's in it. I never watched the show.
No. You see a lot of naked Henry Cavill in it.
Oh, well, now I have to tune in.
I have to watch it, So then going back, let's talk about...
let's get into Elizabeth Bathory.
Oh,
Tell me about her.
Yeah, okay. So a Hungarian countess or Hungarian noblewoman, an alleged serial killer from the Bathory family, owned a lot of land in the Kingdom of Hungary, now Slovakia. And her 4 servants were accused of torturing and killing hundreds of girls and women between 1590 and 1610.
An estimated around 650 girls on her kill count.
Yeah, freaking insane.
Yeah.
Some believe that she was a vampire and that she kind of like influenced like a lot of like vampiric tales. Supposedly,
I wonder if she was before or after Vlad the Impaler.
After. I was after.
Okay.
Yeah. He was in the 1400s. This happens 1500s going into the 1600s.
Okay. So Vlad is the OG vampire and then she comes after.
Yeah, essentially. So she's supposedly inspired, like, is tied to Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Oh, okay. See, I thought that was Vlad the Impaler.
But there's no direct evidence, like, because there's people say that it's Vlad as opposed to her. But between 1602 and 1604, rumors start coming out that that lady's crazy. She's like murdering all these people and things like that. And the Lutheran minister Ivistan Magyari made complaints against her publicly and in the court of Vienna. In 1610, Matthias II assigned Gregory Thurzo, the Palatine of Hungary, which is kind of like the high court's like investigative. It is said that started collecting evidence in March 1610. By October of 1610, they had collected 52 witnesses or witness statements. By 1611, that number had risen to over 300 witnesses claiming that, hey, that lady's nuts. Like, she's in here murdering people. It said that she begun killing daughters of the lesser gentry who were sent to her gymnasium, which was just like a place for them to like learn like etiquette of like noble people. On New Year's Eve of 1612, Thurzo went to Siesti Castle and arrested Bathory along with 4 of her servants who were accused of being her accomplices. According to Thurzo's letter to his wife, he shows up unannounced. Just let me pop in and see what's. You guys better not be murdering people in here.
Oh, jeez.
His visit found 1 dead girl and another living prey girl. Supposedly, Bathory was actually in the act of torture, but there's like a common misconception. So some reports say that she was actively torturing somebody. Others say that she was like having dinner during his unannounced visit. As far as the final body count, I think it was like in the 600s.
Yeah. I seen tortured and killed around 650 girls and women, then bathed in their blood.
And the reason why was to preserve her youth. Yeah. The common motive as to why she did it, people just think she was like sadistic. Just insane. Just for pleasure.
I mean, I can't even imagine bathing in, like back then, because they had no idea how diseases worked. How did she never get sick from bathing in people's blood?
True.
I guess if it wasn't getting exposed into her bloodstream, I guess it was.
They probably believed in a lot of wild shit back then.
Probably.
Yeah, like freaking nuts. Like it's just insane, off the wall nonsense. Like you don't only have to bathe in it, you have to drink it. You have to cook with it.
Yeah.
You have to snort it.
You have to dry it, turn it into a powder, snort that shit.
That'll add 300 years on your life.
Oh, easy.
That'll be 25 shillings, please.
Yeah.
Thanks, Doc.
But yeah, Elizabeth Bathory, what a case.
Freaking nuts.
What a case. So I guess lastly, we have Mary Worth, who is the other, rounding out the trio of potential Bloody Marys. Mary Worth is commonly cited as the origin of the story, but no one can agree on what the story is. In some versions, she was a woman, like we said earlier, who killed slaves who were escaping the South via the Underground Railroad. In others, she was a witch that was convicted and killed in the Salem witch trials. But again, like we already stated, she doesn't show up anywhere in the Salem witch trial victims list. Even the History of Massachusetts organizations showcases an official list of all the accused witches, and Mary Worth is not listed in that. But there are 20 women who are named Mary on the list. So again, it could have just been when you have a person's name and it just changes over time. No. So some stories combine the two, that she was using the slaves she caught to perform the dark rituals, but was eventually caught and killed by the townspeople as a form of justice. So that would place her still in the 1800s, even though witchcraft, the Salem witch trials was 1692. So again, these stories just kind of contradict a little bit. But I guess you could still technically be practicing witchcraft during the American Civil War.
Oh, that's an everyday practice.
Yeah. The Mary Worth story doesn't really hold much credence to me. Yeah. That one's just kind of one of those, definitely, if you wanted to look at a folklore origin story, that's where that comes from. Whereas you have the Mary One and you have Elizabeth Bathory, who are two real historical people that you can look up, you can do your research on, and you can come to your conclusions on or not, whether you believe Bloody Mary is one of those two. But Mary Worth just doesn't have a leg to stand on, really, for me, seeing as there's no real historical evidence of her ever even existing. So there are a couple of nameless iterations, like we said a little bit earlier as well, of her being a witch, a woman that died too young, a woman who had her face horribly scarred due to a horrific accident, a woman whose child died by her own hand, or that she could be the Virgin Mary, which that one just, that one freaks me out.
That'd be wild. That'd be crazy.
And in some stories, Mary isn't based on an actual person, but is manifested into existence by the belief of her and the practice of the ritual. So again, just kind of saying her name, she appears, and just you believing that she's going to show up, she does show up. A lot of different things there. Again, you can take it whichever way you want. You know, there's no shortage of potential origin stories for Bloody Mary.
True. And of course, there's like for all the skeptics out there and like the logical explanations. Mm-hmm. It's just a hallucination.
They call it matrixing.
Yeah.
In some cases.
What is this?
Because where you stare into a mirror with like a dim light source or something, you're bound to see something because your brain doesn't know how to turn what you're seeing into a rational thing. So it makes a thing appear for you. Mm-hmm. Just like audio matrixing. A lot of ghost hunters and stuff like that will supposedly hear something. And like, I watch these ghost hunting shows and they'll hear this like, and I'm like, oh, they said get out. It's like, no, nothing. How did you get that?
Yeah.
It's just audio matrixing. You're hearing what you want to hear, or you're hearing a sound that your brain doesn't know what it is. So it forms into a thing that it does understand.
Yeah. Led Zeppelin told us perfectly. The Devil Eats Cheese Whiz. Like
Wait, what?
that was
Oh yeah.
Or no. That was no. The Devil Eats Cheese Whiz was. I think that was Beck.
Was that Beck?
I think that was Beck.
When you play the
when you play it backwards,
yeah.
I think the Devil Eats Cheese Whiz.
Yeah.
Led Zeppelin was
Stairway to Heaven was.
I am the son of Satan or something.
Yeah.
Like that. Something like I am the son of Satan. Satan.
I remember Bob doing that.
Yeah,
Bob
yeah,
Hornbecker. Satan.
Yeah, exactly. It's
like, or Strawberry Fields Forever at the very end. There's a version of Strawberry Fields Forever by the Beatles where at the very end you hear John Lennon say, "I buried Paul," because there's that whole theory that Paul McCartney died.
Oh yeah,
early on,
and he was replaced by.
Like, I don't know if they were just playing into that theory just to mess with people, but then when somebody asked him about it, he's like, "I didn't say that. I said cranberry sauce." It's like, all right,
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just a hallucination matrixing of some sort, making your brain
another one
make sense of something that it can't make sense of.
Or apophenia or apophenia, which is commonly a symptom of schizophrenia, where it's the idea is it was coined by a German psychiatrist, Klaus Conrad, a German psychiatrist and neurologist. And it's used to describe a core feature of psychosis, which is like the perception of meaningful patterns where none in fact exist. So it's like the human ability to kind of search for patterns, kind of link things together that don't make any, or there's like no correlation. So they're thinking that like you said, matrixing, like your brain is looking for things in the mirror and kind of like making shapes and stuff out of it. Faces or whatever for you to kind of like process what's going on. Yep. Which I tend to believe that's what it is. Because I'm more leaning towards. Yeah. And in that state too, I think in certain situations, like, you know, you're kind of like a heightened state of awareness. So you're looking for things. Right. So if you go in the bathroom looking to summon bloody,
you're already in this ritual mindset. Like you're doing your ritual to summon something. Yeah. You want something to happen.
And you're going to look for anything to confirm that, you know. Right. So I tend to think that's what it more or less is.
I think you're right.
Any popular pop culture?
Yeah. Like I said earlier, the way I found out about Bloody Mary, essentially my version of her anyway, comes from Twisted Metal, which again was just a fantastic game. But the whole reason she's in the Twisted Metal tournament is to find her true love. And then when she wins the contest, Calypso gives her a guy who is not her true love. And then she beats him to death with a club. And then she, blood all over again, and then goes off to find her true love. She says something like, "I'll find my true love even if I have to go through every single man to find him," or something along those lines. So they kind of made her more of an unhinged psychopath, but one who's definitely steeped in murder.
That'll definitely do it. I found that there is, of course, Supernatural. So there's an episode where she kind of similar in the first season, involving a ghost that attacked those who were looking into a mirror while her name was repeated, although she was only capable of leaping into mirrors within a certain range of the mirror that she killed herself in front of. X-Files shows up. There's an episode called...
Was she in the X-Files?
There's an episode called Sizgy, which I can't remember for the life of me. I cannot remember what that episode was about. I've watched that show so many times, and I do not remember that episode was about.
Well, I got to go back and watch this one.
Yeah.
There was a movie called Urban Legends, Bloody Mary in 2005. In that movie, Mary is conjured just by speaking her name and then starts to target the descendants of the 5 people responsible for her death. She was killed as part of a failed kidnapping attempt at a prom, and goes after the prom people's kids. So maybe that was the movie I was thinking. Yeah.
A couple other things too. A couple of video games she shows up in. The Wolf Among Us. Oh yeah, I do Fables. In the Fable series. Dishonored. Oh, she's in an episode of American Horror Story.
She's in an episode of South Park.
Yeah.
They summoned the ghost of rapper Biggie Smalls.
Oh, I remember that. Biggie Smalls.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much... I mean, she's in a lot of pop culture stuff. Like I said, this is a legend that's so steeped in historical culture at this point. We were talking a little bit earlier before we started recording, just like internationally, there's a bunch of other like Japanese legends in the same vein, where there's one called Hanako-san, where this is a child who died in a toilet stall, and then you say the girl's name, and then it's like the third stall on the third floor of the third bathroom or something like that.
Yeah. Like the legend was that it was either
you knock on the door 3 times and you say, Hanako-san, are you there? And then supposedly she affirms her presence. And then if you open the door, you'll find a little ghost girl wearing a red skirt with her hair done up in an old style bun, and they'll pull you into the toilet and down into hell.
That's one where, and then the origins of that is kind of originated out of the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
It got really popular in like the 90s. And
I feel like that's probably also a movie.
it has to be. It was. Yeah, it is. It is a movie.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Japanese. We should watch it. It's a Japanese film. The origin story is that it was either a World War II little girl that was killed in an air raid, a little girl that either killed herself because she was bullied at school in the bathroom stall, or it was a parent that I don't know what
parent killed
an abusive parent killed her, but like at the school. Like, I don't know, like what the situation was that like the parent would be there and like murders their child.
Well, okay. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Murdered by an abusive parent.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was like the parents were abusing her and then she killed herself in the stall.
Gotcha.
That's kind of what I was thinking. But
so, yeah, like that's just like one legend. I'm sure there's
legends all over the world about in the same vein as Bloody Mary. So again, just so steeped in historical culture, pop culture, anything that you can, again, this is a children's, like a Ouija board or something, like just a test of bravery. A lot of stuff on. What are your thoughts? Do you believe you're gonna try the ritual? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. No. I think like you, I feel like you're probably leaning in the same direction where it's just audio and visual matrixing, where you're just seeing what you want to see. You're looking for things to confirm, like your biases and stuff like that. I hate to be so skeptical on a lot of things because we've been talking about a lot of these like folklore legends and stuff like that, but just some of them just seem so outlandish, and Bloody Mary is no different to me. That's fair. I mean, if you would think that with today's technology, somebody could do this ritual in the bathroom and record all of it and see what happens. And we would have millions of people trying to do this to summon her to see if it would work or not. And nobody has done that. Or maybe they're not doing it because they're dead. Because they're dead. But then you would have to have, I mean, I don't know what the number of people that go missing without a trace or are found murdered in their bathrooms a year are. That's true. I'd have to look into those statistics, but I feel like there'd be a spike or something along those lines where people are trying to summon Bloody Mary and then it actually happens. And then what happens if everyone does it at the same time? She doesn't know what to do. Which mirror is the mirror? Right. Like maybe that would actually summon her. Maybe if 7 billion people did the ritual at the same time. Which mirror does it show up in? Does it summon 7 billion Bloody Marys? Oh man. Or is it just one? And can she exist everywhere and nowhere at the same time? Ooh. Shadows and Sightings, where we dig into the real questions. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I'm not buying it. Not buying it for a second. Am I going to do the ritual? No, probably because I don't want to find out. Because I don't want to find out. I ain't taking that chance. I'm not taking that chance. Again, like maybe not in my house. If Bloody Mary gets trapped at a bus station, I don't really care about that. Like, I don't use the bus. I'll never go back there. I don't use the bus. I don't go back there. Yeah. I might find an establishment that I'm not too friendly with and go do it there. But now we know in our own theories what it's going to take to get her out of your house with the exorcism kit and the brutal Taco Bell shit that you have to take. 6 quesaritos to release her from her prison. No Bloody Mary dispel kit is not complete without 6 quesaritos. Exactly. Like that's, I really want to see like a TikTok of like a priest just going on there and just reviewing dispel techniques and like exorcism kits and stuff like that. It's like complete garbage. No, the only thing. None of this works. Nope. None of this works. Nope. Do you want to keep the demon? Because that's how you do it, So I think that's going to wrap up this episode quite nicely. We always encourage you guys to let us know your favorite urban legends, your favorite cryptids, your favorite paranormal stories. You can find us on Facebook, Shadows and Sightings, a paranormal podcast, Instagram, Shadows and Sightings pod, or send us an email, shadowsandsightings@gmail.com. Dropping new episodes every week on Tuesdays going forward. And for the last couple of episodes we've been releasing have been dropping on Tuesday. So stick around with us as we're still figuring out this whole podcasting thing, but we're having a great time doing it. Yeah, at least I am. I don't know about you, but I love it. It's great. Digging into these stories and finding new stuff out. So let us know what you guys think. Let us know what you want to hear us talk about. So thanks for listening to this episode of Shadows and Sightings. We'll catch y'all on the next one where we talk about all things spooky.